2018, Tampa, Florida, the site to open up this calendar year with the Outback Bowl. The last time South Carolina and Michigan met, it was in this game 5 years ago. Each seek their 9th win. There is some dispute as to the origin and meaning of the name Tampa, but the word is believed to mean sticks of fire in the language of the Calusa, a Native American tribe that used to live here in Tampa. It's fitting because we've got Jim Harbaugh and Will Muschamp, two of the most fiery head coaches in college football today, each trying to finish their season with a victory. And with that, we welcome you into the broadcast booth, Adam Amin, Dusty Dvorak, Molly Mcgrath. Happy New Year. We bring you maybe the biggest day of the college football season.
Happy New Year, and we are so happy that you get to taste college football in 2018 first with us right here today.
Yeah, nursing your hangover or something like that. As we open up our bowl dossier, we start with the Michigan Wolverines. They lost 10 starters from last year's defense. No problem for Don Brown.
Well, most places it's a big problem, but Don Brown and this defense, no problem whatsoever. At Michigan, they just reload. Up front, the front four will absolutely choke you out. The best pass defense in all of college football right here at Michigan.
Meanwhile, 3 quarterbacks this season for Michigan. Good opportunity for Brandon Peters today.
Great opportunity. It's an audition for Brandon Peters, a chance for him to get a leg up in this quarterback competition that's sure to happen come spring there in Ann Arbor. But he's been confident, he's been accurate, and he's done a great job taking charge of this offense.
And for Will Muschamp, a real good upward trajectory at South Carolina.
Headed the right way. He took over a program that had 3 wins and a loss to Citadel. 6 wins a year ago, 8 wins this year. By the way, 70% of this roster made up of first and second year players. A win here today gives them 9 wins, only the 7th time in program history.
And today, Molly Mcgrath, we have a tale of 2 Hursts.
Yeah, that's right, Adam. Michigan defensive lineman Maurice Hurst and South Carolina tight end Hayden Hurst. Not related, but they do have one big thing in common. Both are headed to the NFL and decided to play in today's game despite the risk of injury. And when making his decision, Maurice Hurst had extensive conversations with Wolverines former tight end Jake Butt, who suffered an ACL in last year's Orange Bowl. And Butt told him if he could go back in time, he'd make the same exact decision and play in that final game with his teammates. Mo told me he knows he's making the right choice, and Gamecocks tight end Hayden Hurst feels the same way. He's known as the most unselfish player on this team. He said that sitting out of a game is just not in his DNA, Adam.
We'll see both of them in action today in the Outback Bowl to open up 2018. It starts with a penalty flag.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. By rule, the ball will be placed at 35-yard line. First down.
Hey, buddy. Let's take a look at today's Chick-fil-A impact players, and we start with Karan Higdon.
Well, Karan Higdon's been fantastic. Team offensive player of the year, runs hard, he's got great feel, he does an excellent job taking care of the football. On the other side, Sky Moore, one of the most athletic linebackers you'll find in the Southeastern Conference.
Here is Higdon. Stacked up after a yard gain by DJ Smith. Let's take a look at today's keys to the game, brought to you by Franklin American Mortgage.
Well, when South Carolina has a football and Michigan's on defense, we talked about this pass defense, best in college football. It's press man coverage, so South Carolina outside is going to have to win at the line of scrimmage and win the 50-50 balls. And turnovers, it's such a key factor, especially in bowl games. South Carolina's been great, led the SEC in takeaways. In Michigan, their problem, turnover margin, one of the worst in college football.
Peters' first throw underneath to his leading pass catcher, Sean McCune, one of several tight ends that we'll see today for Michigan. Third down.
Smart play there. McCune just working on a stick route. Nice, easy throw, middle of the field. The redshirt freshman quarterback, Brandon Peters, does a nice job standing in there in the pocket, regardless if there's pressure. Very comfortable delivering the football.
Under pressure, down he goes, T.J. Brunson closes out the drive.
Well, we knew that they were going to bring pressure. It's a very opportunistic defense that will flat out get after you. TJ Brunson's going to be on the blitz. It's a delayed blitz. He comes clean. No one able to pick him up. Excellent design by the defensive coordinator, Tavares Robinson, and execution by the sophomore TJ Brunson to get an opening sack and stop the drive.
Brad Robbins is the freshman punter. On a great kick. Will give decent field position to South Carolina. He's back. We'll look at today's Chick-fil-A impact players, and we start with South Carolina's top target.
Well, early in the season, South Carolina lost Debo Samuel, and Brian Edwards really stepped up. They target him almost 40% of the pass plays. On the other side, guy will be getting after Jake Bentley all day. Chase Winovich led the Big Ten in tackles for loss and sacks.
There is the aforementioned Hayden Hurst to the 43-yard line. He got tackled by Khaleke Hudson. That's a matchup you want to watch today. Batted down at the line of scrimmage, 3rd down and 4.
Big Mo Hurst getting the hands up, gets slowed down in the pass rush. And reads Jake Bentley's eyes, hands in the throwing lane, and nice play by the All-American defensive tackle. And how about this tempo, Adam? This is something Will Muschamp told us he wanted to see here today.
Hurst getting after Bentley. You got tempo, I got the rush. Mo Hurst bringing heat.
First of all, I just love the fact that the senior is playing here today. He's going to be a first-round pick in the NFL, and he's going to just flat out get after it up the field. And great penetration and pressure on the quarterback, Jake Bentley. It's a screen, but nobody gets a hand on Mo Hurst. Outstanding first step, and man, is he happy to be here in Tampa, playing his last game for the Wolverines.
Consensus All-American. Donovan Peoples-Jones running backwards. Great coverage for South Carolina by A.J. Turner. Long field in front of the Wolverines. These two teams are meeting in the Outback Bowl for the first time in 5 years. The defense locking it up early. Michigan and South Carolina are getting after it in the Outback Bowl. They got after it a little bit at the bowling alley on Wednesday at one of the events for the Outback Bowl. A little bit of a skirmish between these two, getting the juice going.
Extracurricular, like each other. Makes for good football here New Year's Day morning. Kind of like that, Adam. A little chippiness. Never hurt nobody.
Long field in front of Brandon Peters. To Chris Evans. Pick up about 3 yards. Brandon Peters, a second-year quarterback. 6'5", 220-pounder out of Avon, Indiana. We asked Jim Harbaugh about how Brandon should approach this game. He said he should approach this game like no one is going to take his job. And that's something Jim Harbaugh wants to preach to all of the quarterbacks that are potentially competing for this position next season.
And Brandon Peters said it's like someone is coming into your house and trying to take something from you. It's not going to happen like that, he said. I'm not going to let somebody come into my house and take this from me. And a great opportunity for him to start the 2018 season on the right note by ending the season here today with a good performance in the Outback Bowl. 3rd down and medium. The tight ends to be involved, and true freshman Donovan Peoples-Jones. Big target for this Wolverine offense.
Peters Incomplete. Looking for Kakoa Crawford. Chris Lamons. Excellent coverage for South Carolina.
Well, it's going to be out of the slot. They're just going to try to throw the slot fade. It's fantastic man-to-man coverage. Chris Lamons, the best cover guy they have. He's step for step with him. Gets that right hand in there at the last moment to get the pass breakup. The hand fighting right as the ball gets there. That's great defense. Outstanding coverage by Chris Lamons.
Another punt from the end zone for Robbins. Lamons made contact. Loose ball. Michigan ball at the 47-yard line.
Well, Chris Lamons just made a huge mistake.
Really on the field is that the kick was touched by the receiving team, recovered by the kicking team. First down, Michigan.
I'm not sure if he thought his teammate touched the football. Looked like Javon Charleston, he thought might have grabbed it, but just let it go if you're Chris Lamons. Tries to field the football. Sloppy, muddy conditions out there. Ball's rolling around.
I'm with you, Dusty. I gotta think he was under the impression that Charleston maybe made contact. Otherwise, there's no reason to touch that football if you're Lamons. Chris Evans. What an effort by Evans. Picks up 10 yards. Ball did come out loose, but he was ruled down.
Keir Thomas gets excellent penetration up the field. How about the slight hesitation by Chris Evans to make the defender miss? Little cut, savvy, burst through the hole, a nice pickup, and another first down.
Evans this time will not escape Lamons. I wonder if Chris feels like he's playing with a little bit more fire on this series after the miscue momentarily.
It's a way to somewhat make up for the muff punt. We're able to lead this defense to get a stop. It's a good open field tackle on Chris Evans. It was well blocked. Man on man, safety on running back, and if he was able to make him miss, Evans had plenty of running room. Job securing the tackle in the open field.
Swing it out for Crawford. Gets run down by Lamons and Brunson. We talked about South Carolina's defense, a much improved defense since Will Muschamp and Travaris Robinson took over. Robinson, 36 years of age, a former defensive back at Auburn for Tommy Tuberville. Spent some time playing in this stadium for the Tampa Bay Bucks and has been under Tuberville and Muschamp in his coaching career.
There are multiple front. They go odd, they go even, they really move around, slant the defensive line, give the offensive line quite a bit to think about, and they love the pressure on third down.
They'll bring pressure here. Peters protected. The catch shy of the sticks, though, for Nate Shanley.
Good blitz design, and Sky Moore, the senior, who's able to come clean and get home. He's going to be able to blitz. Just a delayed blitz, the middle of the offensive line opens right up. He gets a big hit on Brandon Peters. Peters able to get the ball out, but well short. The yardage needed to get a first down.
Quinn Nordine, who made two 50-plus yard field goals in that opener against Florida at AT&T Stadium, will try to get Michigan on the board from 35. The #1 kicker recruit in the country 2 years ago, originally committed to Penn State, and then Jim Harbaugh came over one night and slept over at Quinn Nordine's house. That might have been enough to turn the commitment, and Quinn's fired up as he gets the opening points of the Outback Bowl. We are in an NFL stadium, of course, Raymond James Stadium, the site of last year's college football playoff championship game. And of course, that name will be on the call on Saturday. I hope at this point. A lot of rumors surrounding John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders. Of course, 6 NFL head coaching jobs are now open as well after Black Monday. Shi Smith running backwards. What is happening in special teams for South Carolina? There's A.J. Turner, just a yard.
Absolutely nowhere to run, man, on this front for Michigan. I mean, listen, there's some great fronts out there, front sevens, and I've watched a lot of them. Georgia, Clemson, they've got some great ones. Obviously, Ohio State, but this Michigan front seven, when you talk about Rashawn Gary finally playing up to his level, Mo Hurst, Chase Winovich, Aubrey Solomon, the true freshman coming on, flat out get after you up front.
Nice play design here. Bentley dumped it off for Brian Edwards. Bentley lost the football. Chase Winovich with another takeaway for Michigan.
Really on the field with a fumble, recovered by the defense. First down, Michigan.
A man like his hair on fire, maybe?
He's playing like a man.
Playing like it right now.
With his hair on fire. I think that was another RPO run pass option, and Jake Bentley got caught in no man's land. It's the mesh point, the quarterback running back exchange with A.J. Turner. Bentley wanted to pull it. Turner thought he was getting it. Ball's on the ground, and Winovich is on top. Second takeaway already for this Wolverine defense.
Peters taking a shot. Incomplete for Zach Gentry. Chris Lamons, more good coverage. We've talked about it with multiple coaches. When we get to bowl season especially, it feels like turnover margin is magnified because of the layoff. You want to get off to a good start. Rocky start for South Carolina.
2 fumbles already, giving Michigan great field position 2 different times, but also not being able to fill the punt, not being able to fill the kickoff. A lot of miscues here in this opening quarter for the Gamecocks.
Picton wrapped up by Brunson. Third down coming up.
Much running room between the tackles against this South Carolina defense either. They'll load the box up. Safeties coming down low. Physical group up front in their own right. Just not much running space for these Michigan running backs.
Peters has to sling it away. And a penalty marker is thrown late as Daniel Fennell, the redshirt sophomore, had the pressure.
Face mask, number 35, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Add that to the miscues list.
Well, that's one Fennell wishes he could have back. It's good coverage down the field. He wants to go to his tight end, Zach Gentry, out in the flats. Good pressure. You get a handful of face masks, going to draw the flag every single time. Instead of getting off the field, forcing a field goal, Michigan, they give me first down and inside the 20. The miscues just keep coming for South Carolina.
From the 15. Dumped it off from Evans. Sky Moore on the stop at the 9.
Brandon Peters stepping up in the pocket. Offensive line doing a nice job, giving him plenty of time. Locates his running back. Nice pickup on first down.
John Runyon starting at right tackle today. Jawan Bushell-Beatty is out with an undisclosed absence. And Ben Bredesen has an undisclosed injury, the normal left guard. Good maneuvering by Evans, but it'll only get him to the 8. Taylor Stallworth on the stop.
He's shifty. He can definitely make you miss.
Well, you played in Chicago, man. You know what that field is like.
Sloppy.
Sloppy
That's
field
exactly
at
what it's
Soldier
like.
Field. You know what that's like to change out those cleats. Remember, they played here yesterday, Bucks and Saints. Peters just throws it away with Taylor Stallworth all over him. Speaking of the NFL, Taylor Stallworth might be playing there.
Yeah, he's been fantastic for the South Carolina team so far this season. Maybe the unsung hero of the defensive line. Just a bull rush right to the quarterback. Peters fortunate to be able to get that pass away, but you see the power from Taylor Stallworth, the nose tackle, the excellent inside pressure. Coverage down the field was very good. Nowhere for Peters to go with the football.
This one from 26. 6-zip, Michigan.
And again, that's a win for the South
Huge
Carolina
win for
defense.
South Carolina, absolutely.
I mean, 2 giveaways. Let's call them what they are. Those are giveaways by the South Carolina special teams and then the offense, putting your defense in a rough spot. To force 2 field goals, that you got to feel good if you're Will Muschamp, if you're Tavares Robinson, about your defense stepping up once again. It's been a theme throughout this season. The offense gives the ball away, puts the defense in tough spots, and time again they answer the bell. It's a good after you here in South Carolina as well.
Shi Smith stayed on his feet for a bit. Got to the 19-yard line. Ball was stripped by Ambry Thomas, but the ruling is down.
The runner's forward progress was stopped prior to losing possession. First down, South Carolina. That's the end of the first quarter.
Certainly a couple of victories for South Carolina to just give up 2 field goals after some major miscues. We'll break it down with Dusty on the other side when we start quarter 2 in Tampa.
Only 6-0 because South Carolina's defense has stood up, but miscues a problem in the first quarter for South Carolina.
Deep down the field, their best target from the wide receiver position. Bentley finds Bryan Edwards. Down inside the 35 of Michigan.
Well, it's an excellent job by Bryan Edwards winning at the line of scrimmage against Lavert Hill. Press man coverage, he beats him. The offensive line holds up, allows Jake Bentley plenty of time in a nice pocket where he steps up and finds his top target on a skinny post.
Big hole for A.J. Turner and a good run. 2 good plays back-to-back for the Gamecock offense.
We talked about these receivers have to win. There's Bryan Edwards winning inside at the line of scrimmage. A good route. Good off the line and good routes are going to beat good coverage.
What a hit on Shi Smith by Tyree Kennell. Wow. Kennell from Huber Heights, Ohio with the hit.
That's how you come up. Make a play as a safety. Excellent tackle on the now screen outside. He had a blocker out in front. It's a good open field tackle. Big hit on the receiver.
Empty it out here on 3rd down and 3 for Bentley.
It's 81 out of the slot. His top target. Aiden Hurst.
Khalid Hudson. Excellent rush on Bentley. You know, I thought he was going to be covering Hayden Hurst there.
Yep.
He ends up coming in on a blitz.
Yeah, he was bringing the pressure. If you're trying to throw a quick screen, it's good design by Don Brown. Bentley never saw it. He comes off the edge and he gets his hands up. The screen was there. It was a slip screen underneath. They had the blocking set up. But Khalid Hudson been so big for this team this year, playing in that Jabril Peppers position. It's an excellent play coming off the edge.
Parker White from 44. Got a little bit of slice on that one to get the Gamecocks on the board. He has struggled this year from beyond 40 yards. This was a really nice hook job to get it through.
And a much-needed made field goal to get points on the board for the South Carolina offense. They haven't done much offensively whatsoever today. They're able to hit the big pass down the field to Brian Edwards. Able to cash in with the field goal there.
Boy, another procedure penalty on the kickoff from White. What's this? 2 timeouts for Michigan from their own 40. Underneath, Picton keeps his feet and flexes his way to the 49 for a first down. That's a rare missed tackle by Sky Moore.
After I praise him for the great tackling, we get a missed tackle. Good pressure inside, rip up. Number 95, Dante Sawyer, gets pressure. And Sky Moore out in open space, usually a great tackler. Ron Higdon able to make a miss.
Time incomplete for Higdon. DJ Wanham right in his face.
Very basic game plan so far today for Brandon Peters. Not a lot of shots down the field. That's not really what this offense is about or what they try to do.
How do you assess this quote-unquote audition so far?
I think he's struggled quite a bit here in the first half. He's missed several open targets. He's been under a lot of pressure. It's an offensive line did give up 34 sacks coming into today. 2 already and quite a bit of pressure. So he needs to pick it up in the second half.
Peters able to get out of bounds with Brunson bearing down. They'll save one of their 2 timeouts here. 3rd down and 4 coming up.
Play action pass. Love the tight ends in the pass game in these spots. For 83, Zach Gentry. I'm still waiting to see 9, Donovan Peoples-Jones get involved. This is a true freshman that they're extremely high on in Ann Arbor. His coaching staff, Tim Drevno, the offensive coordinator, spoke very highly of him.
Peters has time, and it's deflected at the line of scrimmage. You don't often see it with a 6'5" quarterback, but this is a strong deep front right now for South Carolina.
And Dante Sawyer, defensive end. I just really appreciate a defensive lineman that understands the surroundings, understand what's going on throughout the process of the play. He's getting double teamed, he can't get there with the rush, but he keeps his eyes up on the quarterback and he gets his left hand up to get the pass deflection. 4th down. South Carolina showing some pressure at him.
Going for it are the Wolverines. 1st down, Sean McCune to the 33-yard line. 33 seconds to go.
Well, this is outstanding blitz pickup coming off the edge. You're going to see pressure come, and you're going to see Karan Higdon pick it up. Excellent job by the running back, getting TJ Brunson on the blitz, holding up in protection, allowing Brandon Peters to step into that throw and find his tight end, Sean McCune, on a much needed 4th down conversion.
1 timeout, 33 seconds for the half. Peters dumps it off for Evans. Tackled by Brunson. Clock continues to move. And Jim Harbaugh might save that last timeout for a potential field goal try. Peters, incomplete, and the clock stops with 4 seconds to go. From here, it would be about a 43 or 44-yard field goal.
Take you back to 1st down. I really like the pocket presence of Brandon Peters. He's under pressure by Shamik Blackshear. Blackshear's going to get there right in his face. See how he steps up, keeps his eyes down the field, and he protects the football. And he's able to locate his running back out of the backfield. That's an excellent job by the redshirt freshman quarterback, under pressure, finding a way to make a play.
to open up 2018. We bring you field goals.
Well, Adam, we had the Texas Bowl the other night, and the punter was the MVP. Dare I say it? Are we on our way for a kicker to be an MVP yet again in one of our bowl games?
Hey, it's been some good defense in this first half, but we'll see if the offense picks up. South Carolina will have the ball to start the second half. Will Muschamp's team down 9-3. We'll get you set for the halftime break. Our Mercedes-Benz halftime report after the commercial. From New Orleans, it'll be Kevin, Booger, and Tim coming up. Back in Tampa for the 2018 Outback Bowl. All field goals in that opening half of play. 9-3, Michigan on top as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Let's check in with Molly Mcgrath.
Yeah, Adam, at the beginning of the game, you guys were talking about fiery coaches. I could hear head coach Jim Harbaugh yelling at his team from outside the locker room. He sounded pretty angry, but I did talk to him about his quarterback, Brandon Peters. He's actually happy with how he's been performing so far, saying he's seeing things well, he's managing the pocket well, especially some of those outside passes. He likes that. He just wants them to pick up the tempo, go even faster. He also wants to see more fight to get into the end zone, Adam.
Great stuff, Molly. James Fogue gets us underway with a touchback. Adam Amin, Dusty Dvorak back in the broadcast booth. We talked about the sticks of fire. The name Tampa means sticks of fire in old school Native American languages. We had the fire in that first step between these two.
A lot of emotion, a lot of passion. We've seen it from these coaches, and we've seen it from these players throughout this New Year's Day morning. Will Muschamp, he's been into it, letting the referees know. We know about Jim Harbaugh, as passionate coach as you're going to find in college football. And throughout the course of the game, it was chippy before. Earlier in the week at a bowling event, it's been chippy all throughout this first half. Really headlined by both defenses stepping up and playing extremely well.
Mon Denson gets the first carry of the second half. He'll pick up 4.
On Wednesday, chippy at a bowling event. Some words were exchanged, and words have been exchanged out here on the field. Extracurricular after the whistle all throughout the day today. For a fun morning here in Tampa.
Good play by Randricus Davis, picking up the first down.
Jake Bentley putting that ball out in front of his wide receiver, allowing him to go make a play, and as we expected, South Carolina continuing to play with that tempo.
Tipped into the air, incomplete. First half stats. Defenses really stepped up in that opening half of play.
And, you know, Michigan's defense, as far as 3-and-outs go, one of the best in college football. They led the country with 75 3-and-outs going into this game. This makes 12 of 13 games with 5 or more 3-and-outs. Flat out just shuts you down, get the football back.
Bentley was looking for Ortre Smith, the true freshman out of South Carolina.
Gonna throw a fade to the big receiver. He's 6'4", 220 pounds, the true freshman, working one-on-one outside against David Long. Pass just too high. Well over the hands of his intended target. Jake Bentley's had some real issues this year. His footwork forcing him to have passes sail and go high.
Blitz coming from Winovich. And it's closed out by Furbush.
I like this by Don Brown, right? His defensive end, he's going to stand him up last minute, and he's going to bring him on a blitz. And he's going to get home, he's going to get clean, and opens up. Good job by the running back as he fights through. And it's the other defensive end, Furbush, who's able to get the sack. Excellent job by Don Brown disguising, moving his players around, making it tough to identify. And the Michigan defense getting home for another sack.
Peoples-Jones brought down shy of the 30. First Michigan drive of the half starts from the 28. Peters hit as he throws, but he finds Donovan Peoples-Jones to the 34-yard line. So all three of us threw our playoff picks out there. Oklahoma and Alabama for me, and for Dusty, we both think Oklahoma would win a matchup just based on feel. Molly went with Clemson and Oklahoma. She would pick Clemson as the national championship winner. All three of us really excited to see how it plays out over the next 8 days.
I could make a case for any four of these teams.
Sure.
I really could. I mean, it's that tough to decide. I just went Oklahoma because Baker Mayfield has been by far and away the best player in college football. And I'm not sure if any defense can slow him in that offense down.
Peoples-Jones with the first down. The thing that stuck out to me, and again, a lot of it is going to have to do with how the game's played early. I feel like Georgia's not as good coming from behind, but if they get a lead in that game, that running game can really salt away a lot of the time. Keep Baker Mayfield on the sideline. It's all going to be a matter of execution today. Picks up a yard, does Chris Evans.
I like the start to the second half for Brandon Peters. First down, he was hit as he threw, fires a strike. Then on second down, he finds Donovan Peoples-Jones on a slant with an RPO. Already into a nice groove here to start this second half for Brandon Peters.
Drevno, offensive coordinator, started the season upstairs. Came down about midway through the year. Or 50-50 ball for Nico Collins. 6'4" true freshman going over top of the 5'10" Nixon.
Well, South Carolina's playing man coverage outside, and Michigan says, our guys are better than your guys. Brandon Peters puts plenty of air underneath that football to allow his wide receiver Nico Collins to adjust in the air. Nico Collins, 6'4", much bigger. The cornerback, Keyshawn Nixon. Nice play by the receiver outside. Another Michigan first down.
Peters has Crawford. First down into the red zone for the Wolverines.
Koa Crawford just wide open down the sidelines. He gets back behind the cornerback, Jamarcus King. An excellent pass delivered by Brandon Peters as he takes the shot from Taylor Stallworth. There's one thing I like a lot about Brandon Peters, man. He will stand in the pocket, wait till the last minute, knowing he's going to take a shot and deliver the football accurately down the field.
Pitch to Higdon. And he gets the edge. Karan Higdon gets the touchdown. Now he's going to be marked short. 1 yard line. The official started to put his hands up and then said out of bounds.
Excellent run by Karan Higdon. He's going to get to the edge, and he's got to make one man miss. And he's able to do that. It's 3. Chris Lamons, the safety who comes up. Been such a good tackler today. But Karan Higdon outruns him to the perimeter. It's physical running down around the goal line.
They go to the fullback, Ben Mason. Touchdown, Michigan.
What I love about this guy, one of the toughest player award is a freshman. He's outstanding on special teams. He's a punishing blocker. And here he is with the first touchdown here in the Outback Bowl. A little fullback dive. Making it old school. On contact, a little spin move. I'm an athlete too. Excellent drive to start the second half of the Michigan Wolverines. Brandon Peters set it up, and the fullback Ben Mason finished it off.
Second career touchdown for Ben Mason.
Well, the Michigan offense has finally woken up here in the second half of 2018. It's smash mouth, old school football for Michigan, and a fullback finds the end zone.
Converted from defense to offense. Ben Mason, coaching staff said this guy's not afraid of anything. Went right into the teeth of the South Carolina defense for the first touchdown of this game. Shi Smith. Turns it out to the 26-yard line. Defense doing a lot of the heavy lifting for Jim Harbaugh's crew this year.
They do two things extremely well. They can rush the passer, and they can flat out cover on the outside. When you do that, it lends itself to great pass defense, and that's been the story here today and all throughout the season. This Wolverine defense just tenacious here as they dominate the line of scrimmage. Nowhere A.J. Turner to go. It's Devin Bush, it's Khaleke Hudson all over the place, Adam.
Don Brown led Boston College to the #1 total defense ranking in 2015, then replaced DJ Durkin as the Michigan coordinator last year. Led Michigan to the #1 defense in 2016. Incomplete. Trying to find Ortre Smith. Good coverage by David Long.
It's good coverage. He gets the left hand in there to get the pass breakup. But like Ortre Smith had good position on the slant. Better coverage by the sophomore cornerback, David Long.
Bentley down the seam, tipped and picked off. Noah Furbush with the interception. What a moment for Noah Furbush. Mostly a special teamer his entire career, 32nd career game, first career pick. Longest running sponsor of a bowl game is Outback here at the Outback Bowl. There's our buddy Ryan Nanni, sports writer for SB Nation. Somehow in the third quarter has become the bloomin' onion here at the Outback Bowl. Chris Evans inside the 30-yard line. Really fun story. Ryan constantly tweeting at Outback and said, how many retweets is it going to take for you to let me fulfill my destiny and become the blooming onion man? And sure enough, Ryan Nanni got enough retweets to be the mascot for one quarter here at the Outback Bowl. Dare I say, a lifelong dream come true. And that is a wedding ring on his hand. That man is a father. Ryan Nanni, a proud moment for our buddy from SB Nation.
I think you'd look good in that blue.
Well, I think, frankly, I would, if I weren't doing this, I think I'd want
a man can dream, right?
I mean, maybe I'll fulfill that dream one day. Complete, looking for Donovan Peoples-Jones. This is the schedule today for Ryan Nanni. South Carolina pregame meeting at 10 o'clock, quickly escorted out of the South Carolina pregame meeting. And really about an hour and 20 minutes necessary to oil up.
Oil up?
Got to oil up to get fried for the costume. You got to fry up.
Okay. Didn't know if he thought maybe it was going to be sun today. He was going to work on his stand. Hate to tell him, it's overcast and a bit rainy.
With Nordine, rock solid so far today. This will be from 48. And the Wolverine kicker does it again. Two-score game still, but Jim Harbaugh's team leads now by 16. The final minutes of the third quarter. Our friends at Outback were nice enough to bring us
Thank you, Outback.
a bloomin' onion. Some coconut shrimp as well. Are you team coconut shrimp or team bloomin' onion, just out of curiosity?
I'm team both.
Oh, okay, so you're,
you know
so
this.
that's, I mean, that's good too here.
I don't know if you knew about this, but I like food.
I'm gonna take one of these.
We like food on this B crew. It's been a fun part of the entire year, but man, love Outback Steakhouse. And you can get coconut shrimp and a bloomin' onion up in the booth on television. It's a heck of a new year.
I'm not upset about this right now.
2018's off to one heck of a start.
That's Corey Welty as well. She is the coconut shrimp today. And the regular bloomin' onion for this game is Matt Lewis. But Ryan Nanny with his takeover in quarter number 3.
What do you think, shrimp or onion?
I'm personally a shrimp guy. That's just me, though. Listen, if I were eating the onion right now and just going at you'd be upset about the smell coming from this booth. Terry Kuger on the return out across the 20.
10 drives today for South Carolina, just 4 first downs. Jake Bentley been unable to get anything going so far. Get Brian Edwards, the receiver, going one-on-one outside.
Under pressure, finds Rico Dowdle. And Rico Dowdle, there's a first down for South Carolina.
Corey Helms, the right guard, through a quality block outside to help spring Dowdle pick up those extra yards after the catch. Screen pass into the boundary, well blocked. A nice pickup for South Carolina.
Khalid Hudson right there to stop Dowdle.
Don Brown stopped well short of comparing Khalid Hudson to Jabril Peppers. They play the same position, but he said these are different players. But man, Khalid Hudson just jumps off the screen to tape his versatility. And here today, he's been a one-man wrecking crew, blitzing, out in coverage, showing off the full skill set.
Davis will get close to the sticks into Michigan territory. Again, things continue to stay chippy between these two squads.
Stock blocking outside, or Trey Smith, the true freshman, wide receiver, helps allow Davis pick up a couple extra yards.
0 for 9 on third down, South Carolina in this game. First down for the first time today for South Carolina, and it's Rico Dowdle out to the 39-yard line.
Michigan brings pressure once again. Devin Bush on a blitz inside. Nobody accounts for Dowdle out of the backfield. He's wide open in the flats. Quality job by Jake Bentley recognizing there's a miss in coverage and getting the ball out to his outlet for an easy first down.
Hayden Hurst in space, shy of the sticks. A late hit is going to get called on Michigan. Josh Metellus came in late.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 14, 15-yard penalty. First down.
Finally, Hayden Hurst gets involved in the offense, and way late hit over on the out of bounds by Josh Metellus. Easy call for the official. Chippiness has been going well before this game kicked, and it's continued, as you just saw in that last play. A gift there for South Carolina to get them inside the red zone.
Dowdle in space. Touchdown, South Carolina, from a man who hasn't played since midway through the season.
Excited, but they got to get ready because they're going to have to go for 2. Like the play call. Speed option into the boundary. Not a lot of room for Dowdle to work. Makes the guy miss, and he cuts it all the way back. And he finds Pater. Nice read by Jake Bentley. Good vision, a nice cutback as Dowdle finds the end zone, and the guy we didn't even anticipate the play. I was at practice 2 days ago. Dowdle wasn't doing anything, and here he is finding the end zone for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
We're going to go for 2 to try to make it a one-score game. Bentley was looking for Hurst, but Devin Bush got in the passing lane. It remains a 10-point game.
Yeah, there's a stack formation. The right side, they motion Hurst in and then motion him back out. They just want to get him into the flats. Man-to-man coverage. And he was open. He had good position. Fantastic play by Devin Bush.
Ambry Thomas on the return for Michigan. And they're going to have a long field in front of them.
That drive could not have come at a better time. We talked about before that drive started, they needed to make something happen. They paid it off with a touchdown. A little bit of momentum for South Carolina for it feels like the first time today. Can their defense pay it off and come up with a big stop to get their offense the ball back?
Picton good hold to run through. Pick up 8 yards.
Big hole off the right side. John Runyon filling in. Cesar Ruiz. Right side of that offensive line opened up a big gaping hole for Karan Higdon.
John Runyon, the son of John Sr., the former Michigan offensive lineman who spent 14 years in the NFL. Pro Bowler with the Eagles in 2002. Picton stacked up by DJ Wanham. It's going to be a very important 3rd down in the tapestry of this game.
Respect power football. Nice play by DJ Wanham. He's had a great year for South Carolina. They are very excited about this true sophomore. Long, athletic, very instinctive player, and they say he's got the it factor. Showing some of the it factor there on 2nd down. Taylor Stallworth, big nose tackle in the middle. Such a key with the push inside all year. He can get off a block and make a play.
That ball is loose, and South Carolina has it. Javon Kinlaw. The last 2 turnovers have been given to South Carolina. It was the tight end, Sean McCune, who was getting a handoff.
And Sean McCune, who's not a ball carrier outside of catching the football. They try to hand him a handoff. He's playing in the fullback position, try to give him the fullback dive, and he just doesn't take the handoff properly. Ball's on the ground. South Carolina's on it. And I mentioned it felt like they had some momentum. Momentum has drastically swung to the South Carolina side.
From the 21-yard line, Bentley, end zone, it is caught! Touchdown, Bryan Edwards, just like that. This game is turned on its head.
How about the ball placement here by the quarterback, Jake Bentley, and the adjustment on the football by Bryan Edwards. I've seen it time and time again on the tape from this kid. He goes up, he high points it, he turns his body back, and he finishes the process of the catch in the end zone. Great job by Jake Bentley, giving his receiver a chance on the post, and Bryan Edwards with the acrobatic catch, going up and getting it. 2 touchdowns in the last 94 seconds for South Carolina. Old Uncle Mo, he's in the building, partner.
Not used to doing that.
No.
Peters looking for McCune, his top pass catcher this season. Incomplete. giveaways by the Wolverines. Their last 3 touches. That's turned this game around. Jones, good blocks out on the edge. He's got the first down. Mason Cole, the left tackle, was out on the perimeter to help block.
Boy, do I love this guy. How about today making his 51st straight start? We can take it even further than that. Take a look at Cole. Gets out of the second level. He's such an athletic offensive lineman, played center a season ago. He can get to the second level, gets a nice little just piece of the cornerback and helps spring a nice first down by Donovan Peoples-Jones. Mason Cole, 51st straight start. Adam, 51 straight starts in high school. His 102nd straight start. What a war daddy, big left tackle for Michigan is. Durability, he's got it. He'll be having interviews for the NFL draft here in a little bit. That's really all he needs to say.
At the end of the third quarter.
Mason Cole and the Wolverines still lead it by 3, but South Carolina with a push at the end of the third.
Big Ten has been unbelievably impressive so far in this bowl season. Can Michigan finish it off perfect?
Ron Higdon got hit by Fennell.
Donovan Peoples-Jones, the true freshman receiver, 9. His role started to pick up here in the second half. He's had a couple of nice plays. Excellent speed. Really tough to deal with out in space.
Deep drop for Peters. Trying to find McCune underneath. Good coverage by Stephen Montag, a nickel safety.
Has excellent coverage down the field. The better pressure by Taylor Stallworth, the senior defensive tackle, uses a spin move on the guard. It's a big hit on Brandon Peters as he delivers the pass. 3rd and long.
Nothing there for Karan Higdon. Aaron Sterling in on the mix defensively.
Just a 3-man down lineman. They were going to play a drop 8, expecting throw down the field, and the defensive line just too much. Well, Scott Frost, what a story this is. You know, we had them for UCF-USF, the big game on Black Friday. Watched them finish the regular season undefeated. They pay it off, the conference championship, and I just tip the cap and salute Scott Frost, even though he's the head coach at Nebraska, for finishing the season and for finishing what he started there with the UCF Knights, trying to make it a perfect 13-0.
Michigan brings pressure. Bentley running out of time. Excellent penetration. Lawrence Marshall, Rashawn Gary, Devin Bush, everybody getting in on it for the Wolverine front.
That's a coverage sack there. They brought a cornerback blitz. Safety picks him up. Coverage good down the field. But as you mentioned, pressure gets there late. Rashawn Gary, and off the right side, beats Dennis Daly. Another sack for this Wolverine front.
Bentley throws it up there for Edwards. That was nearly a spectacular adjustment for a catch. Great coverage by Brandon Watson.
How about this pressure from the middle? Defensive tackles just dominate in the middle of this front. Take a look at both of these guys working. They're just going to win up front. 51, Corey Helms continues to get beat. 50, Michael Drumfor, Brian Monet. Good job rushing the passer. A lot of pressure on Jake Bentley.
3rd and long. Furbush forces Bentley out of the pocket. Looking for Hurst. In traffic, he made the first down catch. Big fella going up top.
Play the day for Jake Bentley so far. He's under pressure. He evades it, gets outside the pocket, and he puts it up for his big-time tight end, Hayden Hurst. Great job high pointing the football. Much needed 3rd and long conversion.
Smith runs it on 1st down for 7. This was the 100th catch of Hayden Hurst's South Carolina career.
Fades the rush. Placement outside the pocket, high and outside, where his tight end can go up and make a big athletic play.
Declared for the NFL draft, playing his final collegiate game. Now he's going to block, so that the 1st down is picked up by Davis.
You know, it wasn't a bone-crushing block by Hayden Hurst, just enough, just gets a piece of Khaleke Hudson to allow his receiver the ability to pick up the 1st down. Offense starting to get a little bit of a rhythm. Jake Bentley, finally for the 1st time all game long, seems to be getting some confidence and trusting his receivers down the field.
With protection, has a man, caught! Touchdown, Shi Smith. Gamecocks take the lead. Straight points. 3 touchdowns on the last 7 offensive plays for South Carolina. Jake Bentley, 3 years it took him to graduate high school. He's been the starting quarterback for South Carolina the last 1.5 years. Big time plays. 20 consecutive points. And a comeback for the Gamecocks with a long way to go. Embry Thomas out across the 20. Peters nearly escaped the pressure, but I think that may have been a grab of the face mask by Brad Johnson.
Clearly a personal foul.
Yeah, personal foul, face mask, number 19 defense. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That's a true freshman making a huge mistake. Man, jerks that neck. Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
That sudden movement. And Brandon Peters had to go to the sideline. Will Muschamp's fired up after the call. And John O'Korn was just taking some practice snaps on the sideline as Peters is going to go get checked out by the training staff. So John O'Korn, the 5th-year senior out of Huntington, Pennsylvania, the former American Conference Rookie of the Year at Houston, now in his 2nd season at Michigan. He made 4 starts this season. And he'll start his day with a completion to Kakoa Crawford. And a big gainer for Michigan.
Poor tackling outside by Keyshawn Nixon.
Brandon Peters back in at quarterback for the Wolverines with a fresh set of downs. And Chris Evans gets swallowed up.
Tough sledding on the ground for both these offenses. We knew coming in both these front sevens were very physical. South Carolina's been bringing an extra hat into the box quite a bit of the day.
Teams have combined for just 84 rushing yards today. Peoples-Jones to the edge. And the true freshman into the red zone for Michigan.
This guy's a playmaker. Donovan Peoples-Jones, they have really made it a point to get him the football out in space here in the second half. So now screen, really good blocking on the edge by Kekoa Crawford to help spring that run and allow him to get to the sideline.
Big hole, Karan Higdon inside the 10-yard line. First down and goal for the Wolverines.
Need to run the football on the ground. Get behind your senior. Mason Cole. Big hole off the left side once again. This Michigan offensive line.
Peters. Looking. Pumping. Getting away. Montauk, good pressure from the defensive backfield.
Smart. He wanted to go to Sean McCune early. He was covered. Goes through his progressions, nothing's there. He gets outside the pocket. Very smart, gets rid of the football to fight to see another down.
Nothing there for Higdon. DJ Wanham, sophomore out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, stonewalled him.
Inside zone, backside defender, DJ Wanham. He's unblocked. Really closes down the space quickly. Makes a nice play right at the line of scrimmage. Three tight ends in the game for Michigan. Down here at the bottom of your screen, though, it's Donovan Peoples-Jones, single coverage.
Peters looking for help. Picked off. Jamarcus King. Red zone takeaway by South Carolina.
And the South Carolina defense comes up again. Brandon Peters, his initial read wasn't there, so he gets outside the pocket. He looks at Donovan Peoples-Jones, and he gets blasted by Daniel Fennell. And an interception to give South Carolina the football back here in the fourth.
An important social note, there were 14 African-American head coaches to start 2017. That's about 11% of the coaches. But South Carolina is one of 3 schools in the FBS with 2 African-American coordinators. Here, Western Kentucky and Arizona. Travaris Robinson is the defensive coordinator. Brian McClendon, the OC. And Brian McClendon is smiling right now as Rico Dowdle busts out a 30-yard run.
Brian McClendon doing a heck of a job, especially in the second half of calling plays, getting this offense going. And Rico Dowdle, big run off the left side. Offensive line opens up a nice hole. Rico Dowdle, he's been the spark plug, the energy that South Carolina needed here in the second half.
Good penetration by Chase Winovich on Hurst. It is an important note to bring up with Brian McClendon calling the plays today on offense. Travaris Robinson, the defensive coordinator. This is in South Carolina, a state that was the first to declare its secession in 1860 in response to Abraham Lincoln's election. The only state in which slaveholders composed a majority of the legislature. That is an impressive and important social step in a growing sport like college football.
2 great men. And we had a chance to sit down with yesterday. I have the utmost respect for the job that they've been able to do at South Carolina.
Great coverage. Ortre Smith was blanketed by David Long.
And remember, for Brian McClendon, this is an extended interview process for him. Talking about Talking a lot about Brandon Peters auditioning for the starting quarterback position. Live audition for Brian McClendon, as he would love nothing more than not just be the interim offensive coordinator, but the man for next season. Huge third down, and they give Bentley the time he needs in the pocket.
Bentley going to try to run for it, and got beat by Mike McCray before he could get to the sticks.
It's a nice play by Mike McCray. He's got the running back, A.J. Turner, in man-to-man coverage, and he's running with Turner while at the same time keeping his eye on Jake Bentley to see exactly what he's going to do. Once Bentley decides he's going to run with the football, he leaves the coverage and makes the tackle on the sidelines. Outstanding individual effort by the senior, Mike McCray.
Eighth punt of the day for Charlton. Donovan Peoples-Jones returned a punt against Air Force for a touchdown earlier this year. A lot of hang time on this kick. No return. It is muffed. Donovan Peoples-Jones muffed the punt, and A.J. Turner takes over. Disaster for Michigan.
South Carolina.
Really on the field, as the kick was muffed by the receiving team, recovered by the kicking team. First down.
This is a true freshman that they just love. He's been an excellent punt returner this year for Michigan. Had a 79-yard touchdown against Air Force early, and he just misjudges this football off his face mask and takes a South Carolina bounce. And they have the football inside the 15. Costly mistake by Donovan Peoples-Jones, and now the fourth turnover for Michigan, all in the second half, Adam.
And this was going to be Michigan ball with plenty of time, with a touchdown giving them the lead potentially. Instead, South Carolina takes over, and A.J. Turner gets hit by Devin Bush. Speed option for Turner, and a good tackle by Mike McCray. Boy, if you hold South Carolina to a field goal here, huge win, keeps it at a touchdown game if you're Michigan. Third down and 11. Huge play here in the fourth.
Coverage outside.
A run for Bentley. Needed the 4, and Devin Bush stopped him shy of the sticks. Well, a field goal makes it a 7-point lead for South Carolina, and that's what Will Muschamp wants right now.
Smart call, get your points. Go up a full touchdown. Quarterback draw on 3rd and long. They weren't going to run the risk of turning the football over, and Jake Bentley making a man miss. The safety Tyree Cannell almost gets the first down, but sets up a chip shot for his kicker.
Parker White. It's a touchdown game with 3:47 to go. About a 488-mile trip from the campus of South Carolina to Raymond James Stadium. Almost 1,200 miles from Ann Arbor down here to Tampa. It's been a back and forth and entertaining Outback Bowl.
We talked about Brandon Peters and this being an audition for him, a huge drive for him, and he wants to try to cement him being the starting quarterback heading into the offseason.
Starts this drive with a throw. off the hands of Donovan Peoples-Jones.
To catch it before you can run with it there. The second half has been littered with Michigan turnovers, 4 of them in the second half. And let's take note of where these are happening on the field. Inside the 20, a big 3rd and short. Inside their own 20, it's a fumble. A terrible ball by Brandon Peters. He tries to force one and doink off the face mask of Donovan Peoples-Jones. It's been the difference in this ball game. Turnovers, 4 of them, created by South Carolina in the second half.
Peters a little bit out of the reach, but on the hands of Collins.
You know how I feel, Adam. If it hits you on the hands and you're a receiver, you need to catch the football. The ball was thrown a little bit inside. Nico Collins, the true freshman, got to continue to work to the football. Shallow in-cutting route. He's got to be able to come up with that ball. Now 3rd and long. Expect pressure. The defensive coordinator, Travaris Robinson.
Peters, incomplete for Collins. Great coverage by Sky Moore. And now it's 4th down and 10. Michigan only has 1 timeout remaining now. And you're at your own 25-yard line. An interesting call to go for it on 4th down here.
I'll tell you what, that's what separates Sky Moore from other linebackers in this league. His ability to turn and run with a wide out in the slot, Nico Collins, in man-to-man coverage, and make a play on the football. I don't like this call whatsoever, Adam. I'm shocked by it, actually.
Going for it on 4th down and 10. Peters taking a shot, incomplete for Crawford. And a turnover on downs gives the ball to the Gamecocks.
Michigan's only got 1 timeout, 3:23 on the clock. I don't know, Adam. 4th and 10, and that's what you have. No one's open down the field. Brandon Peters is waiting for it, sitting back there, and then he just tries to hit his target down the field. Well overthrows his receiver. I don't like that decision by Jim Harbaugh.
Although that ball's on the ground, Bentley able to recover. Boy, if Hudson would have picked that one up, that would have changed this game very quickly with 3 minutes plus.
Timeout, Michigan. Their 3rd and final of the half.
Listen, Jim Harbaugh is a good football coach. Won 10 games in back-to-back years, but you got to beat Ohio State and you got to beat Michigan State. He has not done that through 3 seasons. I think by year number 4, if that still continues, if that's a trend we see continue, there's going to be some upset people in Ann Arbor next season.
Hey, for those of you who love those Michigan-Notre Dame night games, haven't played each other since 2014, that matchup gets going again for 2018 and 2019. That'll be the season opener. Scott Frost brings Nebraska into the Big House. You get Wisconsin in the Big House, but you do have to go to East Lansing and to Columbus next year.
Not going to be easy. Big 3rd down here for South Carolina.
Moving backwards out of field goal range. This is big here. Michigan escapes. They get the stops they need in a very tight spot. So Jim Harbaugh had some confidence in that defense. Out of timeouts. You can get this clock down inside of 2 minutes if you're the South Carolina offense. Parker White's longest career field goal was a 47-yarder against Tennessee. This is a 48-yarder to potentially seal it. And Parker White will not have the slice this time. Michigan is still alive.
I didn't think Parker White had the distance. It's cold, the ball's not traveling well. He's 3 for 10 on the year and kicks between 40 and 49 yards. So that's why I was thinking they may take a delay of game, punt them, and try to pin them back deep and make them drive the length of the field. Now, good field position here for Michigan. I did not agree with the decision by Jim Harbaugh, but you can't argue with the results. Get the ball back with plenty of time and a decent field position. Can Brandon Peters lead this offense 69 yards and tie this game?
First down toss to the perimeter for the freshman, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Went right back to him, and he picks up 8. Out of bounds to stop the clock at 1:38.
South Carolina doesn't need to go away from the aggressive nature they've had throughout the course of the day. See so many times defenses soften up like a prevent style defense, allow easy throws underneath and just matriculate the ball down the field.
Peters will slide down near the 40. Clock continues to move inside of 90 seconds. We're down and short. Quick throw, batted at the line of scrimmage. Dante Sawyer getting that big old paw up. And now, game comes down to this. 4th down and about a yard to go to try to stay alive. It's the 3-man rush. Peters. Intercepted rather by Steven Montag to seal it for South Carolina.
Fourth and 1, they're throwing the football down the field. It's excellent coverage by Steven Montag. Undercuts the route on the out. It's a fantastic interception for the 5th takeaway, an Outback Bowl tying takeaway of the 2nd half. Travaris Robinson told us yesterday they wanted to get 5 takeaways. They wanted to be bowl record holders as far as takeaways go. They just reached it with that interception and just got to their 9th win for the 7th time in program history. Some interesting decisions down the stretch, I feel like, Adam, this Michigan offense.
They tie the Outback Bowl record with that 5th takeaway. Exactly what Travaris Robinson talked about yesterday. They wanted to have that record, and Will Muschamp and his defense turn this game around, and it continues to get a little chippy between these two teams on the field.
Will Muschamp has got this program headed in the right direction. You've seen the progression. 6 wins a year ago. They get to 9 wins here this season, and with a very, very young football team, 70% freshmen and sophomores, you see nowhere but up for this program. And now for today's Capital One Player of the Game, receiver Brian Edwards. 5 catches, 88 yards, and a huge touchdown on a post route. He makes an acrobatic play climbing the ladder, getting a much-needed South Carolina touchdown to really get the momentum in their favor. And once the momentum started, Adam, nothing Michigan could do to slow it down.
This was a 19-3 game with Michigan on top with about 2.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Over the final 17+ minutes, South Carolina outscored the Wolverines 23-0. There will be a lot to celebrate for South Carolina. Let's check in with Molly Mcgrath.
Thank you, Adam. Coach, that game was sealed by the 5th takeaway. That's the Outback Bowl record tying takeaway. What kind of fight did you see in your defense there down the stretch?
Well, nothing that I haven't seen all year. Very gritty performance by our football team. We may not have the history, we may not have the tradition and all them trophies, but we got some grit and some toughness and some fight in this group, and it's a lot of fun to be a part of, and the great thing is we're just building.
I just saw your quarterback. He was pretty emotional. He's crying here on the field. How did he find success against the #1 pass defense in the country?
Those guys are really good. They cover really well. I thought Brian McClendon did an outstanding job of DCing and looking back and getting us in the right looks. We hit them on some deep balls down the field. The ball to shot. We moved the ball in the first half. We just didn't get any consistency, and we turned the ball. It was kind of cold when you have this stuff happen to you.
Of course, and you guys now the 7th team in school history with 9 wins. How important is that for you moving forward for what you want to do with this program?
First of all, to thank you to our seniors and the job they did for our program. They did a phenomenal job. We're a 3-win team 2 years ago. 9 wins, springboards us forward, and I'm really excited about our future.
All right, congratulations on the win, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam.
An impressive comeback by South Carolina for its 9th win of the season. A fantastic job by our incredible crew from start to finish, led by our producer, Kim Belton, our director, Anthony DeMarco. For Dusty Dvorak, Molly Mcgrath, Adam Amin saying, enjoy the playoffs. So long from Tampa.